Let's look at what it means to be puffed up. That's the second part of that verse there. When you puff up, what do? You look at something, you look at someone you perceive as being below you in status, wealth, acclaim, and then you sinfully take pride in the belief that you have something valuable that they do not have. That's what it means when you are puffed up. Let's take a look at Luke. Luke 18, 9 through 14. What does it say? This is Jesus talking. And he spake this parable unto certain which trusted in themselves that they were righteous and despised others. So he's talking to some proud people here. Jesus is saying, he says, 2 men went up into the temple to pray. The one a Pharisee, the other a publican. The Pharisee stood and prayed thus within himself, God, I thank thee that I am not as other men are, extortioners, unjust, adulterers, even as this publican. I fast twice a week. I give tithes of all that I possess. And the publican standing afar off would not so much as lift his eyes unto heaven, but smote upon his breast, saying, God, be merciful unto me, a sinner. I tell you this man went down to his house justified rather than the other, for every one that exalteth himself shall be abased. It means he shall be put down, and he that humbleth himself shall be exalted. When you see the word publican in the Bible, I want you to think of the public servant. In almost all cases, these were tax collectors. They were seen as greedy. They were seen as corrupt. They were generally unpleasant people. They were power drunk. There were cases they would steal money. They would skim off the top of people's taxes. Sometimes they'd frame people. They'd misreport pay-in amounts. I mean, they were just bad people, right? That's how they were viewed, as bad people. And they were the least in the Jewish culture. They were the trash. They were the turncoat, traitors, the thorn in everybody's side. And who was this publican in the temple with that day? He was in the temple with a Pharisee. I want you to see the contrast here. Publican, least of the least, vile, disgusting, representative of the oppression of the Roman Empire. And then there was this Pharisee. And the Pharisee, he was blessed by God. He was knowledgeable in all things. He was clean. He was pure. He was representative of the model Christian. But see, the Pharisee had a big old problem here. He wasn't practicing a core tenet of Christ's teachings. He wasn't exhibiting a key portion of what it means to follow the Lord. How do we know this? He was puffed up. Note that he relates to all the outward things that he does for his love for God. His fasting, his tithes. He never says anything about his inward attitude. And it's funny today how so many model Christians, we suffer the exact same problem, don't we?